What's up and welcome to the Sam Dracula channel, Charlotte Hornets fan channel. It is a Tuesday evening and the trade deadline is a Thursday afternoon. It's getting tight and things aren't really going well for the Hornets, to say the least, in a few different aspects. On the court specifically, some stuff off the court that's a little uncomfortable, but definitely an issue on the court with the losses of players. All right, this is what we're looking at right now. So like I mentioned, I'm recording this on Tuesday, February 8th. For tomorrow, the Bulls game on ESPN. I think it's ESPN. It's a national TV game. Hayward out, McDaniels out, Cody Martin out, Bouknight doubtful. We'll see. It's a little sketch right now. On the positive side of things, something that had nothing to do with the Hornets directly, the Pelicans going for it right now. We have their first round pick. It's protected. So if they fall outside the lottery and make the playoffs, we get it. The pick from the Pelicans is from the Devontae Graham deal from the summer, right? If the Pelicans pick ends up between 15 and 30, it's ours. With their acquisition of CJ McCollum today, they are looking pretty good over there. You know, that team was already playing better than they were at the start of the season. And adding CJ McCollum, Zion comes back, and all of a sudden, the Pelicans look to be a decent contender in the bottom portion of the Western Conference. So some good news in Hornets world as we approach the deadline. I think it will be like my official prediction is nothing happens. And so I think this is the only positive thing that happens from a trade point of view ahead of the deadline. This is from The Observer. Go check out Rod Boone's article. I'm not going to show the whole thing and talk about the whole thing. I just want to show one paragraph. So Hayward had an MRI today and revealed sprained ligaments, right? And we're looking at upwards of a month as he recovers and goes to rehab. Not great. Going back to the injury, right, against Toronto, Hayward's trying to defend a layup. Gary Trent Jr. goes up. They get tangled. Hayward falls awkwardly in pain. Play continues to the other end of the floor and then back down again. And Trent Jr. falls on Hayward again. Hayward's in pain on the baseline, on his back, waiting for a dead ball to get some attention. Nothing. It's so weird. That is among the weirdest things. We've seen a lot of weird stuff this season. That's among the weirdest to me, that neither team nor the referee stopped play to give Hayward the attention he needed while he was lying in pain. It's mental. His wife thought the same thing.
All I will say is I'm frustrated because how do you leave a player on the ground for 2 plays and no one stops the game? It's just mind-blowing to me. And I just wanted to storm the court. Robin's
100% right. It's very weird. That's not the point of this video. The point is to talk about the Hayward injury and the impact on the Hornets. So let's get into that. The Hornets right now on a 5-game losing streak. 5-game. Sliding down the Eastern Conference. Sitting right now at the 9th seed. Thankfully, there's some cushion between us and the Hawks currently, right? There's still plenty of time to get back into the mix, right? Because there's not a lot of distance. It's a very short distance between 9, where the Hornets are, and 6, where the Raptors are. 1 win, 1 game in the win column away from 9 to 6, okay? Which again makes the trade deadline approaching, adds a little more, it should add a little greater sense of urgency to help close that gap, right? Because the team is going through it right now. This isn't as severe as it was last year. Around this time, we lost Gordon, Malik, and LaMelo. Now, Hayward being out for a month, his injury is not as severe as it was last year, thankfully. But Hayward being out for about a month, right? McDaniels, he's out. Cody Martin is like day to day, but he's out already for tomorrow. Bouknight with a strained wrist. We'll see what happens with that. Speaking of that, so the Bouknight Borrego thing was already weird enough, and then you put this into it. He showed up on the injury report after the disagreement, the previous game, right? In street clothes with a cast on his wrist, like a soft cast on his wrist. He says nothing serious, it's just a sprain. So we'll see what happens with Bouknight. Not that he was a major contributor in the rotation anyway, but with Hayward being gone for an extended period of time, with Cody Martin in the mud, with Jalen McDaniels in the mud, we have one less horse to rely on. Gordon Hayward's been remarkably healthy this season. All right. He missed the largest chunk of games due to health and safety protocols. He missed 2 games for like discomfort. He's been around all season long. And it took him falling awkwardly with Gary Trent Jr. to take him out for around a month. There have been 7 games this season where Gordon Hayward didn't touch the floor at all, right? In those games, the Hornets are 2-5. 2-5 without Hayward. All right. Now, the issue with this is a lot of other guys are hurt too, right? The guys you would expect to take up the slack, Cody Martin, Jalen McDaniels, they are going to be out for a little bit too. So we're looking real light. Kelly Oubre, we'll get into him in a second. Kelly Oubre has some shoes to fill. Right? We've seen the highest of highs with Oubre and the lowest of lows with him. And we're gonna have to ride that out for a month, hoping for the best. So I assume Kelly Oubre will fill up time in the small forward position. Maybe Miles slides down and PJ starts during this stretch without Hayward. But let's look at Oubre. I got Oubre's career right here in front of us, right? This season, to his credit, he's having the best shooting year of his career, right? From 3. 35% from 3 on 8 attempts per game. If you look at from 19 and 20, it was last year with the Suns. Yes, the percentage is higher at this point, but it's at 5.5 attempts per game. Homie is shooting an extra 3% and still maintaining that percentage, his previous high. That is admirable and a valuable asset for this franchise. We've seen what Kelly can do when he's hot, and it's carried us, man. Kelly Oubre has been a key acquisition this summer, and we're gonna have to ride it the rest of the way without Hayward. So the problem, right, is the lowest of lows, like I mentioned earlier. Ever since Kelly went nuts against the Pacers, the last 4 games, right, all losses, 32% from the field, 16% from 3. I mentioned he was taking 8 threes per game on average for the totality of the year. He's shooting 9 now, and it's less than 17%. That's a problem, man. That's a really big problem. And it's only going to continue because we're not playing enough players on a nightly basis. This 8-man rotation we've been experiencing as Hornets fans, it's been tough during these losses because you're like, all right, well, this isn't working. Maybe we change it up. We're losing options with these injuries, right? So Kelly Oubre is going to play more. And I need Kelly to take smarter shots. This is bad. And I know he'd tell you this if you asked him, right? 16% from 3 over the last 4 games and going 0 for 8 yesterday. Mad. It's mental stuff. This cannot continue. Oubre being Oubre, next game, who the hell knows? He can go for you go 10 of 12 all of a sudden and be right back in the mix. And I know he's capable of it. We've seen it before, right? It's gonna be a roller coaster. We're gonna have to ride without Hayward out, which is unfortunate. This is the value of Gordon Hayward. We have Oubre, we have PJ that can start at the 4, Miles can play some 3. There's flexibility there, but the bench really takes a hit. And so, JT Thor, your time has come, my man. Like I thoroughly expect and hope to see more JT Thor during this stretch while Jalen's out, while Cody's still nursing his injury, especially, right? I think, those minutes go back to those guys when they're ready to go once again. But JT Thor, maybe Kai Jones, maybe. I'm not hopeful for that. I would love that, right? But I'm not going to burn any calories thinking about or wishing for Kai Jones to get some run. But if there's ever a time for Kai Jones to get some run, it's right now. Kuboka's an option. I think that's about it. Looking at the depth, the young guys on the team. I hope Borrego takes advantage of this opportunity. A bad thing has happened. Hayward's going to be out for an extended period of time. Cody Martin's out for an extended period of time. Jalen McDaniels is out. We have an opportunity here. There's a silver lining here to see what we have with the younger players in the squad. It's not an ideal situation, right? It's an uncontrolled situation where we're going to have to be relying on these guys to be playing key bench minutes. But we're here now. We're here. We got to live in it. We got to own it. And I have confidence in JT Thor. I like what he brings defensively. He has an NBA body already, and he's willing to take a shot. I like that. I think JT Thor has a bright future with this franchise or in the league in general. And I'm excited to see what he can bring. Kai Jones is a big old wild card. I have no idea what to expect from him whenever he's on the floor. But homie can do some exciting stuff. So during the stretch, I know he's not a small forward, but I look at him as a wing player, especially at this point in his career. So maybe we see more of him during the stretch. I don't know when to expect Book Night to be available again, but again, he's a guy that could take advantage of this opportunity with Oubre playing more 3 and less 2 in those rotation looks. Melo, Terry, Oubre, PJ, Miles, Mason will be playing the majority of the minutes for the rest of the way. And just looking for those guys like Ish, guys like Book Night when he's ready again, JT Thor, maybe Vernon Carey, Nick Richards. Hopefully you can see some more of him. Scotty Lewis, Kuboka, Kai Jones. There's opportunity here for some of these young guys to step up with some of the main players in the rotation out. And if they show off and show out during the stretch, maybe they can earn a regular spot in the rotation when these guys come back. And this team could go from an 8-man rotation to a 10-man rotation, maybe. But I may be talking crazy. It doesn't seem Borrego's too interested in playing 10 guys in meaningful minutes on a regular basis, which it still baffles me. But I think we're headed that direction because I think it's hands forced in this scenario. We got to change it up. This team looks gassed, man. They look tired. They've been going on 11 for a long time, and we see them have spurts of solid team basketball, but it falls apart offensively and defensively. Like the offense was fine. It was excellent, right? And then it's not all of a sudden. The defense was fixed, right? In November, December, those issues were gone, man. From like January to like a few weeks ago, the defense was fine. Like it was approved. It wasn't perfect by any means, but guys were stepping up. Things were happening positively on the defensive end. We're holding some of the best teams in the league to under 100 points. Hornets fans, we have a lot to be hopeful for, right? Trade deadline coming up Thursday afternoon. I think it's 3 p.m. Thursday, 3 p.m. Hopefully we get involved. We need help somewhere on the floor, especially now. The definitive need for a center will always remain until it's properly addressed, okay? But now with Hayward's injury and adding a wing to the mix is something they should explore. A guy like Harrison Barnes, let's say, right? He can play multiple positions. He's a veteran in the league, and his contract decreases over the years. Like Harrison Barnes will be a nice fit in Charlotte. So guys like that, I'll be curious to see and hopeful to see if we can add to the mix in some form or fashion to get us the rest of the way, because the Eastern Conference is wide open. This team cannot win a title this year. I hope I'm wrong, by the way. If there's anything else I'm hoping I'm wrong about, it's that the team can't win a title. That'd be amazing. Obviously, it's not happening. But what I want them to do is take a leap, right? We saw them fall. We saw this last year. Around the All-Star break, the team fell apart, fell to the 10th seed, and got embarrassed in the play-in. We're falling down the Eastern Conference once again, man. And it's looking like if this team had to play in the play-in tomorrow, I'd be terrified. So there's a lot to fix, a lot to address. Hayward's going to be back sooner than later, right? He's not done for the season. McDaniel's going to be back in the mix again. Cody Martin's going to be back in the mix again. James Bouknight is going to be back in the mix again in some capacity. And then again, who the hell knows what happens in the trade deadline? But listen, I've been Sam. You've been great. Thank you so much for checking out my channel, watching this video, especially made it to this point. Thank you so much. Please like, please subscribe. I'll see you next time. Hopefully the Hornets make a trade soon. Peace.